Remember who you're talking to, man. Superhero fan number one, right here. Trust me, I know how it works. The moment people find out who a superhero is, all the bad guys start gunning for him. And not just him, but all the people he cares about. In order, first up, family members. Next on the list, girlfriends. And after family members and girlfriends, best friends. So yeah, no way I'm barking up that tree. Your secret's fucking safe, dude. Because I do not have superpowers. Which only begs the question, how did you get superpowers? Was that bus radioactive? What? Explain. Make it make sense, Kevin. Ned said, frustrated and shouting. Ned, I'm gonna need you to lower your voice and stop yelling about me being a superhero. Believe it or not, there are other people who live around here. Okay, Ned replied. My bad. But be straight with me, man. What's going on? Where'd you get superpowers? How many superpowers do you have? Are they infinite or limited? What stage in your development are you? How far have you made it through the hero's journey? What? I replied, with a bewildered expression on my face. Dude, do you listen to anything I tell you? There are so many things that factor in. We have to get you prepped and ready, man. I have to know what your powers are, how they work. I have to know what you're doing about your costume, because wearing a Metal Knuckles jersey ain't gonna cut it. And I most definitely need to know how far you are in your hero's journey. There are phases, man. Phases that every hero has to go through. And the steps can change depending on what your powers are, where your powers come from, if there are any dangers to your power. These are things I need to know, dude. Oh man, do you have an arch yet? Please tell me I did not miss the establishing of the arch enemy. Ned, I replied, rubbing my hand down my face. You need to calm down. You are making zero sense. Man, just because you read comic books and watch anime and watch superhero movies doesn't mean you're magically going to be an expert on what to do. Oh, man, Ned replied. Don't you pay attention to anything I say? Dude, comic books, superhero movies, they're the blueprint, man. I'm telling you. I already told you about this theory once, but apparently you weren't listening. I think that whoever came up with superhero comic books and movies did so for a reason, a purpose, man. I think they were a superpowered guy too, or girl, whatever. But they had trouble finding other people with powers, but knew that they would start showing up. So they created comic books, a perfect how-to guide to being a hero, to the dangers you needed to be aware of, the steps you needed to take to be a hero, man. That's where they come from, guy. They were made to teach actual superheroes what to do and what to look out for. And luckily for you, you have a best friend that is a comic expert. And first things first, you have to tell me how this happened. The more I know, the easier it'll be for me to help you come up with a step-by-step plan that will make sure that you don't end up one of those comically short superhero comics where they kill him off because he's not really good at being a superhero and it all ends tragically. I don't want that to happen to you, bro. I sighed deeply. Okay, Ned, fine. But you're gonna have to promise me not to freak the hell out. Because this gets weird. And I'm talking really, really weird, dude. Dude, you have freaking superpowers. At this point, I've grown to accept the weird. Bring it, Ned said with a serious expression. And so, I spent the next hour or so talking to Ned. Eventually, Vicky showed up as well, and I and her had to bring Ned into the fold, explain the situation, what was going on, how I got my powers, and what my end objective was. Ned sat there the entire time. I have never in my life seen him so attentive to anything that was not a colored illustration or a superhero movie. He had laser focus. "Okay, that is crazy, dude," Ned said after we finished. "Aliens? And there's one inside of you, like right now. And that's what's giving you your superpowers." "Oh, that is deep. But that also means..." "Booyah!" Ned said, giving a fist pump in excitement. "Ned, what are you excited about?" "Dude, you are the savior, the salvation of an alien race that gives people superpowers, man, and that wants to make its home here on Earth. And there are a bunch more aliens, dude. Think about it, man. They're still gonna want to stay here after you save them. And if they're symbiotic, dude, they're gonna need people who are willing to let them kick it. Which means superpowers are totally on the table for best friends. According to you, only the queen or whatever needs that super special blood, right? So basically anyone else can still have one of the regular symbiotes. Dude, perfect candidate right here." "Ugh, only you, Ned," Vicky said, frustrated. "Only you would hear about alien worms inhabiting your body and immediately want one for himself. Even if they do give you superpowers, that is super weird. Yeah, you can think whatever you want, Vic. But I will take a worm all day for some superpowers. Believe it. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We still have to save the alien race, which is a good thing because that gives us a clear objective. And now I know how far he is along in the hero's journey. He's still in phase 2. He's already had the revelation of finding out he has the superpowers, and he's even established an enemy. But now he's starting to establish himself as a hero, learning how to use his powers, and starting to go out and help people with those powers. In other words, he's in phase 2. Altogether, there are 4 superhero phases, and you don't reach the most badass until stage 4. That's when you've completely mastered your abilities, and everything goes to a new level. But until then, you're still going to need help. Someone to help you figure things out. Don't worry, bro. I am totally here for you. "Ugh," I said, wary from the whole conversation. "Okay, well, as long as you're going to keep your mouth shut about this, I suppose it won't be too much of a problem." And believe it or not, he actually is right about the whole symbiote thing. They are going to need a place to stay, and having somebody who's actually willing, and who isn't a psychopath that's going to try to kill me, might actually be helpful. So Ned might just get himself a symbiote somewhere down the road. That is, if I can save them. Yeah, dude, and you totally know I'm down for that. But first things first, I have to know everything. Everything you know about your powers, man. It's important that we maximize your effectiveness. I'm also going to have to help you with finding yourself a nice costume, and a better means of hiding your identity than wearing a hoodie. But don't worry, dude. I can sew. Being good at cosplay has its advantages. And I will totally be able to come up with an awesome name for you. Buddy, having a friend who's into superheroes is about to pay off for you like huge. Well, this didn't exactly happen because I wanted it to. But whether I wanted it or not, Ned was in. And at least now it cut back on the number of people that I needed to keep this whole ordeal secret from. And Ned might actually be a fair amount of help. I mean, superhero nonsense or not, he's not stupid. And I did have some problems that I was gonna need some outside help in figuring out solutions for. Hopefully Ned would be good for that. He had a nice imagination. So I spent some time explaining to both Vicky and Ned all the things that I had found out about my powers, giving some demonstrations and detailed explanations of what I knew thus far. because now comes the interesting part, whether they can help me or not.